You are listening to High Hope Sportscast with me, DJ. This is a podcast covering the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, the purple and gold skull. I talk about everything Vikings, scores, stats, my opinions, anything purple and gold. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and you can listen to all of my episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and other platforms for your podcasting. All right, let's go. Welcome back to High Hope Sportscast, everyone. This is the season 3 finale, and it is going to be kind of a Vikings season review. So I kind of go over the Vikings season this last season. So it was kind of a one to remember. So before I jump into that, there's just a couple of things I want to say. First being former Vikings owner Red McCombs, which he owned the Vikings before Ziggy and Mark Wilf took over. He died, I believe it was Monday, February 20th at the age of 95. So thoughts and prayers to his family and loved ones. Our hearts are heavy right now, us Vikings fans, as we remember our former owner. So, and then something I didn't, throw out there last episode. Last episode was kind of all about the Super Bowl. We, I don't think I did put this in there, but we were looking for a defensive coordinator after we fired Ed Donatel. Brian Flores, former Miami Dolphins head coach, and last year he was with Pittsburgh as a linebackers coach and an assistant. So he was actually in the running for the Arizona Cardinals head coaching position, and he actually turned that down, which is crazy. He turned that down to come to Minnesota to be our defensive coordinator, which I think that's really crazy that he turned down a head coaching position to be a coordinator. But maybe there's other factors in it. He did say that it was just a gut feeling to choose to be here as a DC instead of being a head coach in Arizona. He just said that he had a gut feeling, and then he said that his sons wanted him to come to Minnesota throughout this whole process, and they're big Justin Jefferson fans. So when he officially accepted the job here, there was a lot of gritting going around in the Flores household. So that was kind of neat to hear. And he's an aggressive coach. He did a really good job at turning around that defense in Miami when he was the head coach there. He likes to blitz a lot, zero blitzes, different looks. It could look like a zero blitz, but then other some people fall off. So I'm really excited that we got Brian Flores as kind of the top one that we were in the running for, that I did want to land here. So I'm really excited to see this defense under Brian Flores. So with that being said, I'll kind of get into the season review for the Vikings. Everything was new this year with the Vikings, and new GM Kwesi, new head coach Kevin O'Connell, new offensive coordinator in Wes Phillips, new defensive coordinator in Ed Dontail, which didn't didn't end up panning out. So, um, if you guys remember, I had this Vikings team this season finishing 10-7, um, and barely getting into a wild card spot, and they exceeded that and more. Um, as you know, some of you may know, before this last season, um, I I wasn't very high on our quarterback Kirk Cousins, at all. um, th- that man, that all changed this season. You know, during the season, he brought this team back from double digit deficits in more than half the games this season. I mean, I don't know how you can hate on Kirk for, you know, for doing that. I mean, this new coaching staff, especially the head coach Kevin O'Connell, has to have uh, at least somewhat of an effect on Kirk, because back when Zimmer was still here, uh, you know, we were in those close games, but we were never able to actually get over the hump and finish those games. And now Kevin O'Connell's here. We're still in those close games, and we were figuring out a way to pull it off. Um, so the fourth quarter was kind of Kirk's calling card this year. Um, it's when he thrived the most. It seemed like. Uh, yes, he has arguably the best wide receiver in the league, but uh, he's Kirk is the one delivering the ball. So, and Kirk is one of the most accurate passers in the league. You put that together with the best wide receiver in the league, I mean, it's going to be a good result. So, um, now that the season is over, um, I'm not saying I'm going back to being down on Kirk or anything, but he is kind of getting up there in age. I think, you know, the start of the season he'll be 35, I believe. Um, so I just think that we need to start thinking about the quarterback position of the future. Um, I have heard rumors or mock drafts that are out there that people have made up about us being a sneaky team to take a wide receiver in the, or not a wide receiver, a quarterback in the draft, as in Anthony Richardson. There at if he falls to 24. Um, so you know we're not going to get no C.J. Stroud or what is it, Caleb Williams that won the Heisman. They'll be going off, you know, top 10 or you know, top 5 or something, you know. But you know, a lot of praise. You know, in those articles that I've read about us possibly taking Anthony Richardson, he's got um, a lot of upside. Someone said that they compare him to Patrick Mahomes, I think. So I guess that will be interesting, something to watch for in the draft, if that's something Kwesi and KOC want to do. This team definitely had a lot of ups and downs, as any team does. But starting off week 1 against the Packers and scorching them to getting scorched the following week by the Eagles, or an international double doink in London, and then our first round pick Lewis Cine, in that same game in London, goes down with a gruesome leg injury that ended his year. He had to stay there for a few weeks and get surgery in London. It was just not a good deal for Lewis Cine. And then the largest comeback in NFL history after being down 33-0 at the half against the Indianapolis Colts, and then coming back and winning the game. And Cam Dantzler ripping the ball out of a former teammate's hands to secure the win. Amir Smith Marset. I mean, Justin Jefferson with that absolutely crazy historic catch on 4th and 18 at Buffalo. Um, wow. I mean, this team was very electric this year, um, but not enough to make a deep playoff run. Um, we did make the playoffs, and that's something that's a big deal. Having a first year head coach, regardless. But so there was definitely a lot of rookie mistakes on Kevin O'Connell's behalf that ended up being a big part of how games ended. If you guys have heard, listen to the show throughout the season, my opinions on some of those calls that Kevin O'Connell had made. Um, just really dumb mistakes that you know I feel like kind of cost some of those games. So Kevin O'Connell, he owns up to it, and I liked that, and I hopefully see him getting better, learning from those mistakes. Um, so but now with Kevin O'Connell with a year under his belt and a new aggressive defensive coordinator, hopefully we have what we need to make that run. And hey, maybe, just maybe, make it to the Super Bowl. Maybe, I don't know. um, so that's kind of my I don't know, a little bit of a spiel on the review. I'm gonna go. I have some favorite moments of the season. These are probably, dead giveaways. Probably the same for any other Vikings fan out there. But to start it off with, my first favorite moment of the season was so in the off season we signed Zadarius Smith, former Green Bay Packer, and week 1, Green Bay came here to U.S. Bank Stadium. Zadarius Smith sacked Aaron Rodgers in that game. His very first game as a Viking, he sacked his former quarterback. That was very awesome, and right off the bat, week 1, got us Vikings fans just pumped up for the season. And then uh, Cameron Dantzler ripping the ball out of Amir Smith Marset's hands to secure the win against Chicago. That was a an electric play too. It just I didn't even I remember um that play, and I didn't realize that he had ripped the ball out right away until I think the announcer said something. And I was like, "Oh my god, he's got the ball! He just ripped it right out of his hands." Um, and my background here, if you're watching the episode, these pictures that I have up here, some of my top moments. I got over here, I got the Cameron Dantzler up here. I got it's kind of cut off, but I got the Zadarius Smith. I got our NFC North champions. I got right here. I got Justin Jefferson catch. Down here is the score from that Colts game. But then my next moment is the whole Arizona game when Arizona came to Minnesota. That is one of my favorite moments just because, well, there's multiple reasons. The biggest one is being that was my very first Vikings game I had ever attended. And it was on my birthday, so it made it even better. Um, I believe Zadarius Smith had multiple sacks on Kyler Murray that day. Um, We got the Jared Allen mullets that they were handing out because he at halftime he got inducted into the Vikings Ring of Honor, which that was awesome. He came out on a horse, and it was just really cool to see. And yeah, the, that's really the reasons. I mean, and hey, we won the game, which made it even. It just topped it off. Icing on the cake right there. So that was another one. I do have that in my background, but it's behind me. Actually, a picture I took at the game. And then basically the whole Buffalo game. Josh Allen fumbling on the goal line. And then Justin Jefferson's historic catch on 4th and 18 to keep the drive and the game alive. That was pretty much. I feel like that was the game of the year, other than the Super Bowl. But um, yeah, and then obviously the Colts game. We were down 33-0 at halftime. I remember at this game, I actually shut the game off. Probably, I don't know. There's maybe 2 minutes left of the first half, and uh, then after a while, it kind of started eating at me. I'm like, I can't not watch the rest of the game. I gotta. It. I was so pissed off because we were just getting absolutely dominated, but I can't not watch it. So I turned it back on and made the biggest comeback in NFL history to win 39-36. I still to this day I still can't believe that game. It was just nuts. Um, Now this I kind of just decided to do this. The I'm gonna do High Hope Sportscast Vikings Players of the Year. And once I'm done going through them all, I'll put a ticker up on the video part of it. So I'll keep my MVP for last, which I'm sure everyone knows who it is. If you're a Vikings fan, I'm sure you know. But I'm going to start off with, let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 different uh, awards, I guess if you want to call it that. So I'm going to start off with Rookie of the Year for the Vikings. Um, a lot of people, I've seen Facebook posts about who they would pick and this and that, but a lot of people said Jalen Naylor. I mean, he didn't really play all that much, but my Rookie of the Year is Ed Ingram. He really, especially for a rookie, man, that guy played very, very well. I'm glad with that draft pick from last year. Most improved player. I didn't really know who to pick other than this person, and that is our center, Garrett Bradbury. Uh, you know, before this season, uh, he wasn't the best. He wasn't very good, I guess, if you want to say that. Um, his future in Minnesota was kind of up in the air. I guess it kind of still is, but probably more so before this last year. But I definitely think that he improved a lot this year, and he was when he was hurt, and we had to go to our second or third center. It definitely made a difference. You could tell. So my most improved player is our center, Garrett Bradbury. Uh, Next man up award. Our cornerbacks. Uh, we're kind of thin this year, and this dude Duke Shelley just came out of nowhere, and it was just amazing. He could have been he can be a starter. Um, so up, my next man up award goes to Duke Shelley. Um, Offensive moment of the year, obviously, it's going to be the same as the NFL's moment of the year, which would be Justin Jefferson's catch on 4th and 18 against Buffalo. Um, Defensive moment of the year, I already went over this as one of my favorite moments of the year. So that would be against Chicago, Cameron Dantzler stripping the ball out of Amir Smith Marsette's hands to secure the win. Um, so that's my defensive moment of the year. And then this one I just kind of made up. I tried to look for the right word, I guess. And this is what I came up with. So Mr. Tenacious, which means a player that just never gives up, just keeps getting back up, no matter how many times you fall down, you get hit, you just keep getting back up, never quit. And that one, Mr. Tenacious, goes to our quarterback, Kirk Cousins. You get hit, and some of them were pretty hard hits. He just get back up, go to the next play. Um, so I think maybe there was like only a not even a handful of plays that he didn't play where Nick Mullins had to come in, other than maybe at the very last game of the season, or if we were getting demolished or whatever. But yeah, I definitely think the Mr. Tenacious award is deserving of Kirk Cousins. So, and then MVP of the Vikings this year, obviously Justin Jefferson, hands down, has to be the MVP. So those are all the awards. I'll put the ticker up here for you now. There it is. So Rookie of the Year, Ed Ingram. Most Improved, Garrett Bradbury. Next Man Up, Duke Shelley. Offensive Moment of the Year, Jefferson's catch against Buffalo. Mr. Tenacious, Kirk Cousins, and MVP, Justin the Jet Jefferson. So yeah, that's kind of something fun I wanted to put in there. It was kind of fun picking them and making up one of the awards. So now to kind of look forward a little bit to the off season. There's already a couple of things. The Vikings have already re-signed Blake Brandel and Chris Tonga. Kyrus Tonga. I am very happy about the Tonga re-signing, and then the Blake Brandel. I don't really know how to feel about that one. I don't feel like Blake Brandel is all that good. To be totally honest, in my opinion, we could have afforded to, cut ties with him, but hey, uh, yeah. So next, I'm gonna get into um, the stats, the season stats. First, I'll start off with some team stats for the season for the Vikings. So first off, we got total first downs, which we had 382. Um, so then if you break that down into rushing, passing, and by penalty, um, rushing first downs, we had 93, passing 244, and by penalty first downs, 45. Third down conversions, we were 93 for 226. That seems like not very good. Fourth down conversions, 9 for 19. Total offensive yards, we had 6,145. Average yards offense, offense we had 1,123, and then average 5.5. Total rushing yards we had 1,661. And then that offensive plays we had 1,123 offensive plays. And then rushing plays we had 404. That doesn't seem right. I don't know. Total passing yards. Yeah, that's right. So total passing yards 4,818. Pass completion attempts, interceptions, and average. So we went 448 for 672, and 15 interceptions and 7.2 as an average. Sacks 47, field goals 26 for 33. We had 49 total touchdowns. Touchdowns broken down into rushing, passing, returns, and defensive. So rushing, we had 18 touchdowns. Passing, we had 30. And returns, we had 1 touchdown and 1 defensive touchdown. So turnover ratio is 2. That's all that there is for team stats. So I'll go to some individual stats for the Vikings, starting off with our quarterback, Kirk Cousins. He played all 17 games. He went 424 for 643, 65.9% completion, 4,547 yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, sacked 46 times. Oof. A rating of 92.5. Rushing, Dalvin Cook played all 17 games. That's got to be a first in a long time. 264 attempts, 1,173 yards, an average of 4.4, long of 81, 8 touchdowns, 3 fumbles, yards per game 69. Then we go to Alexander Madison. He played all 17 games, 74 attempts, 283 yards, average of 3.8, 5 touchdowns, and 16.6 yards per game. Then we'll go to receiving. Justin Jefferson with a historic season. Played all 17 games, 128 receptions, 184 targets, 1,809 yards, average of 14.1, 8 touchdowns, a long of 64 yards, yards per game, 106.4. Then we go down to Adam Thielen, played all 17 games, 70 receptions on 107 targets, 716 yards, average of 10.2, 6 touchdowns, long of 36, and 42.1 yards per game. KJ Osborne, 17 games played, 60 receptions on 90 targets, 650 yards, average of 10.8, 5 touchdowns, a long of 66, and 38.2 yards per game. And then we'll go, the last one we'll do is TJ Hawkinson, tight end. He played 10 games with the Vikings because he was traded. He also had 60 receptions on 86 targets, 519 yards, average of 8.6, 3 touchdowns, along with 21, and 51.9 yards per game. Defense, Eric Kendricks led the way with 87 solo tackles, 50 assists, for a total of 137, 1 sack. And Jordan Hicks, 86 solo, 43 assists, 129 total, 3 sacks, one interception. Harrison Smith, 66 solo, 19 assists, 85 total, one tackle for loss, 5 interceptions. Tam Bynum, he stepped up this year too. 49 solo, 32 assists, 81 total, 2 interceptions. Patrick Peterson, 56 solo, 10 assists, 66 total. 5 interceptions for Patrick Peterson. That's pretty good. Daniil Hunter, 46 solo, 19 assists, 65 total. Sacks, 10.5. Yeah, and then let's see here. I'm gonna go all the way down this. I'm gonna go with the sacks next. So Harrison Phillips, 28 total, 31 assists, 59 total, 1.5 sacks. Zadarius Smith, 32 solo, 12 assists, 44 total with 10 sacks. Delvin Tomlinson, 19 solo, 23 assists, 42 total, and 2.5 sacks. DJ Wanham had 4 sacks. Tyrus Towner had half a sack. Patrick Jones had 4 sacks. Ross Blacklock had a sack. Yeah, that's about it. For sacks, I'm not going to go through the whole list of defense. There'd be a lot of players, a lot of numbers. But scoring, Greg Joseph actually led the way in scoring with 118 points scored. Next would be Delvin Cook with 60, and then Justin Jefferson in third with 56. Returning, we had 3 returners all season: Kenny Nwandu, Jalen Rager, and Johnny Munt. So Kenny Nwandu, 35 attempts, 920 yards, average of 26.3, long of 97. That was when he had that return for a touchdown. Jalen Rager, 0 attempts. Okay. So just Kenny Nwandu, I guess. I don't know why these other 2 are in there. So kicking, Greg Joseph, 26 made field goals on 33 attempts, 78.8%. Long of 61, which is a team record and a career record for Greg Joseph. 10 for 10 from 20 to 29 yards, 5 for 5 from 30 to 39, 7 and 8 from 40 to 49, 4 out of 10 from 50 plus, with 40 extra points made, with 46 extra points attempted at 87%. Then we go to punting, the rookie Ryan Wright. This is another one. I thought of giving Ryan Wright my rookie of the year, but I had to go with Ed Ingram. But for punting, Ryan Wright, 73 punts, 3,457 yards, a long of 73. 73-yard punt. That's just crazy. An average of 47.4, a net of 42.5. Only one of his punts were blocked. He had 32 punts that were inside the 20, 1 touchback, 22 fair catches. That's about it. That is the individual stats. for the Vikings. Um, so it was a good year, not how we wanted it. Get uh, taken out in the first round of the playoffs, but it was a good season under the first year of Kevin O'Connell. Um, this offseason, it's going to be very interesting. Uh, we could see a lot of familiar faces leave, like possibly Adam Thielen. I did hear that they're trying to work something out with his contract for him to stay. I I really couldn't imagine Adam Thielen being on a different team. Um, and then Dalvin Cook, Eric Kendricks, Dalvin Tomlinson. Um, something about Dalvin Cook. Uh, he's pissed me off. Dalvin Cook. When he said that he wouldn't take a pay cut and basically said trade me instead. I don't think he actually said, hey, trade me, but to that extent, I believe. Um, he won't take a pay cut, so I get it. It's money, it's business, but look at how many times Adam Thielen has actually taken pay cuts to stay with this team and be a team player. Um, I don't know. I just that attitude it's not what I want on my team. It just shows what's more important to him. So to be totally honest, I I want Dalvin Cook gone. To be totally honest, call me crazy, but yeah, there'd be a lot money that we'd be saving if we were to cut him or trade him. Um, so with that being said, some of the free agent running backs that might be a possibility for the Vikings would be well, if Cook and Madison both aren't on the team next year. So there's two of them. Uh, Buffalo's Devin Singletary and Philadelphia's Boston Scott. Now, these guys we could get a lot cheaper than Delvin Cook. Between these two, I would have to go with Devin Singletary. Um, just because he's better, he's a better all around running back. Boston Scott is kind of a, I don't know how to say it. He's not. I don't really know how to explain it, but I just think that Singletary would be uh, better than Boston Scott being the featured back. Um, so and another thing that I heard is which is pretty nice. I believe I heard Singletary has only fumbled the football 3 times in his whole career, which means he takes care of the ball. So that would be a nice, kind of peace of mind when it comes to ball security. Um, and I heard an interesting take on a possible or running back solution. I don't think it's going to happen because it's kind of far fetched. But our voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen, he had an interesting take, and he said maybe shift Jalen Rager to running back. Um, I don't know if the team would do that or not. I know Paul Allen had said one day that he had talked to someone within the organization about that, and he heard crickets. I don't know if that's actually true or if he was just pulling our chain, but I I can't see Jalen Rader being the featured running back. I mean, he's good for, the jet sweep kind of stuff, and maybe do throw him in there a couple running plays, but it not not to have him. Um, I mean, Cordell Patterson, he was a receiver and shifted to running back, and it worked. I can't see that happening with Jalen Rader. I don't know why. I just have a gut feeling that it wouldn't be like that. So, um, I don't know if I would to make that decision to do that. I would, throw him in there occasionally, but I wouldn't put him in there as a running back as much as um, Cordell Patterson is now. Um, Another reason to not spend money on a top tier running back is because we pass more now, substantially more, and I'm not saying just go out there and get any running back, uh, but we don't need an expensive running back like Dalvin Cook anymore. We don't need to rely on the run game as much. Um, so I'm not saying just go out there and get the cheapest. I'm just saying we don't need to spend Dalvin Cook money on a running back when we have all these weapons through the air. Especially Justin Jefferson, best receiver in the league. I mean, we don't need a top tier running back. We can save some money by getting a cheaper running back. So it makes sense to get rid of Cook, um, especially money wise. We have to pay Justin Jefferson. I know there's a lot of people out there that are saying, "Oh, if you're a true fan, uh, you would say just trade Justin Jefferson so we can get more draft capital and build this team around." But I mean, I I get that point of view. I do, but why would you let a player like Justin Jefferson slip through your hands, and why would you willingly get rid of him? It I just don't see the sense in that at all. Um, let's build around Justin Jefferson. He is the face of the franchise. Let's not get rid of him. Let's not, let's make him happy. As long as he's doing him, let's, you know, let's build around him. Those people that say, "Oh, trade him," no, I don't think that's smart. Um, so some things to look for and hope for next season are, how Quasey will handle his second draft. He traded with Detroit last year, which they ended up getting Jameson Williams, and then Green Bay. They had got Christian Watson, um, and then very big improvement and aggressive defense. I think it will, both will happen with Flores as the defensive coordinator now. How much we will blitz and how effective it will be. I'm really excited to see that. Um, it was nice being able to close out in close games last season, but I hope we aren't going to put ourselves in those situations that many times this next season and moving forward. We need to take a step further now and be able to get the lead and build on it and not let teams be able to come back or keep it close. So, just get the lead and kind of run with it more than, oh, we're going to let the other team, stay in it. But, and then what Jefferson will do after a record breaking and historic season, what's next for Justin Jefferson next year. So that will be interesting. And will Kirk Cousins improve and be even better having 1 year under a system under Kevin O'Connell and Wes Phillips, and not having to finally not having to change offensive coordinators the following season. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that will transpire, where Kirk isn't learning new playbook, a whole new system. So I'm looking to see if Kirk will improve and get even better next year. Um, and then the last thing is, can we make a deep playoff run the second year with Kevin O'Connell? I think we can if these things happen that I just went over. Kevin O'Connell learns from the mistakes that he made this last season as a first year head coach. Especially one of the biggest things is this team has to stay healthy. Here at the end of the season with Garrett Bradbury, um, uh, our cornerbacks were hurt too. But like I said, Duke Shelley came in and did a phenomenal job. But health and learning from the mistakes and continue to uh, to build and improve team chemistry and everything. I think it possibly we can go further than this last year. So that's what I think right now. I guess I might have a different opinion on that after this off season's done, and what we've um, what we've done in the draft and the off season and free agency and things like that. So we'll see. But as of right now, that's what I think. So yeah, well, that is a wrap for season 3 and on another Vikings season. Um, yeah, it was a fun ride. It was a fun season. I'm thinking about taking a little break till closer to the preseason, but I might be doing a little something for or during the draft. So stay tuned. Might be a little bit different. So stay tuned, and yeah, that was a fun season. I thank you to all who have tuned into the show this season. I appreciate you all, and I hope you'll join me next season. And yeah, don't forget to share the show with other people to get the show out there more. And thank you, and we will see you later. Maybe around the draft, but yeah, that's it. Season 3 out.